This is Gus Summers, and you're watching In-Show Celebrities. This is the time I take every Monday to talk about some of my favorite films and actors. This week, we have one of Hollywood's most iconic actors. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. This great action star came to Hollywood in a unique fashion. He came as a bodybuilder. At the age of about 15, he discovered that he loved bodybuilding and took it so seriously that by the age of 20, he had already won Mr. Universe. He would go on to win that a total of 4 times. And then by the age of 23, he would win Mr. Olympia. And he would go on to do that another 7 times. Until this day, he is the youngest person ever to become Mr. Olympia. Well, after that, he knew he wanted more for himself and for his life. So, of course, he came to the United States and went right over to Hollywood. He would go on to become a renowned figure in the bodybuilding world, which gave him his footsteps into movies. Well, he started off with bit parts, and one of his first movies, he actually was told to change his name, so they changed his name to Arnold Strong. Well, that didn't last very long, but he continued to do his bodybuilding, and then in the early 1980s, his biggest break came. It was the lead role in Conan the Barbarian. That was a huge hit for him, and then he would go on again to star in another huge film called The Terminator. And then from that on, there was no stopping him. Well, first up is a film that I think everyone enjoys. Now, by this time when he made this movie, he was already a big star, and he could just command any salary he wanted and command any kind of film. This particular film was around for a while. It jumped from producer to director, from studio to studio, actor to actor, until finally he got a hold of it and said, "This is what I wanted." And he negotiated such a great deal as that the majority of the budget went for his salary, and he even got a Lear jet as part of the whole package. The film, the mega hit, Total Recall. He plays Doug Quaid, a construction worker in the futuristic Earth. I think it was 2084 or something like that. And he is plagued by these dreams of being going to Mars, and then this mysterious woman and all kinds of events happening there. But he's never been to Mars. And his wife, Lori, portrayed wonderfully by Sharon Stone, tells him, they're only dreams. Don't worry about them. So to get it out of his system, he tells a friend that he's going to try to go to Recall. Well, his friend tries to talk him out of it, but he decides to go to Recall. What is Recall? It is a company that allows you to live your wildest fantasies, and it's all make-believe. All they do is implant a memory into your mind, and you'll live as if you actually had experienced this dream. So he goes there. But in the middle of the process, they realize that he already had what they called a memory cap. Someone already had messed with his memories and such. And so, well, he's trying to, get out of there. They inject him, knock him out with this drug. They put him in a taxi and just say, let's get rid of him. Well, he wakes up. He has no memory of being at Recall. But as he's working his way home, his friend that he worked with and a group of other men try to kill him. And all of a sudden, he kills them all in a professional manner, and he's realizing what is happening to me. He goes home, tries to explain it to his wife, and there It's when it all comes out that he truly is someone else and that her life is all made up, and she tries to kill him. Well, another group of men try to come from this, they're secret agents, and they're trying to kill him. And the lead agent, another great actor, Mr. Michael Ironside. Well, he hates Arnold Schwarzenegger because Sharon Stone, who's playing his wife, is actually his wife, and he hates him for hates Arnold Schwarzenegger for being involved with his wife. But Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't know anything about what's going on, but he is trying to escape from everybody. But his former self, who's called Hauser, had left him this briefcase, and in this briefcase he had money, identification, and a recording, kind of that explained everything to him. So, but the big thing was he had to get to Mars. So he gets to Mars. All kinds of havoc happens there, but he's trying to find a young lady who's been in his dreams, and then when he goes to this bar and he actually sees her. Her name, Melina, played by the lovely Rachel Tickleton. And she knows him as Hauser, thought he was dead, but he's telling her, I'm not Hauser, I'm Doug Quaid. I don't know what's going on. She wants nothing to do with him. She thinks he's double-crossing her, double-crossing. What you come to find out is there's a resistance on Mars. Because on Mars, there are workers. They found this pyramid, and supposedly there's some sort of ancient alien artifact in there. And besides all that, there's the governor of Mars, and he is trying to keep a lid on everything because he controls it basically with an iron fist. And the governor, another fantastic actor, Mr. Rodney Cox. He tells he works with Michael Ironside, and he's telling him, I want Doug Quaid alive. Bring him in, and I don't care how you have to do it, and I just want this done. So then just everything that happens on Mars, everything wrong that can go wrong does. The leader of the resistance wants to meet Quaid. He's the mysterious Quado. No one knows who he is, and the resistance want to topple the Martian government, want to get rid of Rodney Cox, and have a better life because he controls everything. I don't want to give I don't want to give too much away for those who have seen it. It's such a great film, but there is so much commentary about the film. About a totalitarian government, a dictator. What will the government do if there is a device that will free the people? It's fascinating, but one of the things about the film was you look at the vehicles that they drove, the sets they made. Everything was pretty elaborate. It was a high budget film, but its return was enormous. I think at the time, in the early 1990s, it brought in, I think, almost $300 million. So you talk about 1990. So I think you basically double that, and it was a huge hit. Anyways, great film. Fantastic film. Next up is a movie made about the same time, early 90s. It was such a huge, even bigger hit than Total Recall, and this just cemented him as a Hollywood superstar. A film that would, even if you watch it today, still holds up. Of course, I'm talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yes, T2. He again reprises his role as the Terminator. And this particular film, it is brought forward a little bit than from the original one. In the original Terminator, he comes to kill Sarah Connor, portrayed wonderfully by Linda Hamilton. And he fails in the first attempt. And in the second one, now they're a little older. It was just her. Now she's had her baby. Her baby's about, I think, 15ish. I think or a young teenager. And so the Terminator has come into the future to, back to the past to kill him now, not just the mother. Well, as we know, there are two Terminators. And the second Terminator is the T-1000. He's, liquid metal. He can, take any form. Anything he touches, he can take it. Take that form and appear like them. And, and especially any type of, sword or knife, any type of metal object, he can turn himself into, become a deadly weapon. And so the T-1000, portrayed wonderfully by Robert Patrick. I think everyone who saw Terminator 2, T2 was like, wow, this guy's crazy. What a great way he portrays the robot, the Terminator. So we know that both Terminators come, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was changed by by John Connor in the future to come protect him. So now we have two Terminators, and one to protect him and one that's trying to kill him. So he finds John Connor. Actually, at the T-1000 and the Terminator, I think he's the T-800. So this is the newer version, the T-1000. So he's an 800 version, and the other one's a liquid metal, more advanced. So he becomes initially a policeman, finds him. He the T-1000 kills the policeman, takes over his his appearance, becomes a police officer, takes a car, runs the computer, finds where John Connor lives, visits there, finds out that he's actually at the mall. He goes to the mall. John Connor, is told that the cops are looking for you, so he takes off on his little motorcycle, and the T-1000 he's chasing him. First on foot, and then he gets a semi, and he's chasing him in the streets in the semi. John Connor goes into the riverbed. I'm telling you this scene because this is a great scene. So he goes into the riverbed, and the T-1000, great scene, boom, comes flying off the bridge into the riverbed, and is almost running over John Connor. And I should tell you, John Connor, portrayed wonderfully by Edward Furlong. Just great little actor. Never acted before. That was his first movie. Did a great job. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, his Terminator happens to see him chasing, Robert Patrick chasing John Connor. And he goes down there on his motorcycle. You see all these stunts. He comes off the bridge too, goes on the side, and right before Robert Patrick runs over John Connor, he picks him up, puts him on his bike, and flies away, rides away. And they're shooting the truck. Arnold Schwarzenegger, boom! The truck hits a wall and explodes, and they think it's over. And they ride away, and here comes Robert Patrick, because he's liquid metal. He just got hot. So he just comes out. You're like, what? And so from there, Arnold Schwarzenegger tries to tell John Connor, we got to leave. He says, no, we're going to save my mom. He goes, no, the other Terminator will know. That's what we'll do, and he'll go get you there. And he goes, I don't care. So they go to this mental hospital where she's being held. Meanwhile, she's able to escape on that same time. So as they're going there, she's able to escape. And when they get there, you see the T-1000, Robert Patrick gets there, they get there, she's running through the hospital, and there's this scene where she is finally, free from everybody. She breaks the key, the guards can't get her, she's running to the elevator, she's pressing the elevator button, and then she hears the door, and she's walking over to get into the elevator, and lo and behold, here comes Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you put yourself in that position, think about it. She knows what's going to happen in the future. She's locked up in a psychiatric ward because they think she's crazy. She knows that she has to protect John Connor, which she can't, but because she's locked in the psych ward and she's trying to escape. So her worst nightmare is the Terminator. So she's about to get free, and what does she see come out? A Terminator. She doesn't know he's a good Terminator there to protect her, but could you imagine the fear? Your worst fear comes walking out. I can't, yeah. And her look is like, no, I can't believe it. And she runs, runs down the hallway. The guards get her. Arnold Schwarzenegger helps her out, but then here comes Robert Patrick. Then they got to run from him. So they end up escaping. So yeah, I describe a lot of the movie, but I love how it flowed so wonderfully. Things that didn't need to be asked were answered. Just like I said, just with that look. Then really quick, he says, she's at the elevator. She doesn't know that he's a good one. And then her son says, he's okay, he's with us, and he says, come with me if you want to live. And then they live. Now she realizes that he is a good Terminator. Why he's there? She asks all kinds of questions as the scene goes on, and realizing he's there to help. And she says, well, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do that, we got to do that, so on and so forth. And then she learns about the person who actually develops Skynet, who develops all the technology. She knows it's a guy named Miles Dyson, portrayed greatly by Joe Morton, another fine actor. So, and then she wants John to get out of there. She has the Terminator go take him, and then she goes on a mission to try to kill Joe Morton, because if she kills him, then Cyberdyne doesn't get created and all this other stuff. But anyways, great film. Like I said, it holds up today. Even if you watch it, it's still entertaining today. Great film. Well, last film. For a while there, he took a break off, as we all know, to become governor. And he only did a few bit parts here and there. And after becoming governor, this was basically his first starring role for a number of years. It didn't do very well. It's actually a good film. It's light. It's a good role for him because he makes light of his age and where he's at in life and so on and so forth. But like I said, it didn't do well in the theaters. It's getting more traction afterwards as people have discovered it, seeing it or renting it. The movie, The Last Stand. He plays Ray Owens, a small town sheriff near the border of Mexico. And it's a small town. He has a few deputies. One of them is a great actor, Luis Guzman. He plays Michael Figueroa. One of the other deputies, Jamie Alexander. She plays Sarah Torrance. Again, another deputy who's there in this small town. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a big LA PD special. There's a special unit, but he lost in one bad job. He lost some of his men, and decided to hang up his career and become a sheriff. So that's why he's there. And a side story is the FBI, and this particular unit is led by a John Bannister, and he's portrayed by the wonderful Forrest Whitaker. They're transporting a South American drug lord. The drug lord's name is Gabriel Cortez. His name's Cortez, played by Eduardo Noriega. They have him, so they're going to take him to a different prison. And en route, the FBI are ambushed, and Noriega is helped to escape. They take hostage one of the FBI agents, and what they do is they give him a souped-up Corvette, which they stole from the LA Auto Show, because he fancies himself a race car driver, and he's going to race himself all the way from the United States through to Mexico. That's his plan, because the police are going to set up barricades. The car goes faster than helicopters. He can get around them. So he's making his way all the way down to Mexico in his fast car. And so what we learn is he's not going to take the direct route that everyone thinks. He's actually going to veer off towards the small town of, I think, Summernet, something like that, where Schwarzenegger is sheriff, because everyone thinks he's going to take the main highway, but he's not. He's going to go, veer off and, go through the town. And what they're going to do is construct a temporary bridge that is going to allow them to cross a chasm, a big chasm that separates the United States and Mexico. Because the only way to get to Mexico is through the bridge on the main highway, but they're going to construct one, and he'll just drive right over, and no one's going to think any different. They're going to think he's going to take the main highway. That's the only way for him to go. So, the guy's driving, Noriega's driving. The helicopters, he's passing them. He's getting past all the roadblocks. Well, meanwhile, he has some henchmen that go to the town to make sure there will be no obstruction for him to get to the bridge. The main henchman, his name is Thomas Burrell, portrayed greatly by Peter Stormare. Peter. He's always that guy that. He's that character actor that is able to portray, one of the best bad guys. I mean, you see him everywhere from, the Jurassic Park movies to Constantine. He plays the devil in Constantine. So he has this great ability to, bring out these great characters in these films. So his military men that are trying to clear out the town, they don't know that Schwarzenegger and everyone knows that they're coming. That they're there. They happen to stumble upon them because a farmer didn't make his delivery. They had to take over the farmer's property, and the deputies going to look for the farmer, wondering is that, stumble across them, and then there's a big shootout, and now everyone knows, we're in trouble, because now the sheriff knows. But Peter Stormare is like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, no, this is my town. No one's going to, take this away. They're not going to go through this town that easily. And so, the rest of the movie is, he's trying to get guns, and he has to go get some guns from the local eccentric guy. He says he owns a museum, but he's really like one of those guys that collects military hardware. He has this Gatling gun, a big 44 Magnum that they shoot at beef, and one of the deputies gets hurt. But the military guy, he's Louis Dinkum, portrayed by Johnny Knoxville. I think Johnny Knoxville knocks it out of the park. He just plays it crazy. When he goes to help, he wears like a Viking helmet and has a shield. And he's like, yeah, let's go do this. Yeah, they shoot it. They shoot the Gatling gun. He's helping Schwarzenegger shoot the Gatling gun. He's feeding it in. He's, yeah, that's what I like. Great role for Johnny Knoxville. So, anyways, again, I don't want to give too much away, but if you haven't seen it or you haven't heard much about it, give the film a chance. I know you'll like it. There's one scene where he comes busting through the door and crashes on the floor, and the people say, "Sheriff, are you okay?" And he goes, "I'm too old for this." Again, alluding to his age. But anyways, he still does a great job. He's still, is able to command the screen and the presence. It's good to see him back in movies again. So, looking forward to more of his films. Well, that's what I got for you today. Hey, well, this is Gus Summers, and you've been watching In-Show Celebrities. This is the time I take every Monday to talk about some of my favorite films and actors. And remember, don't forget to visit us every Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at theinshow.com, where I host The In-Show. And that's when I bring on all sorts of celebrities and guests to talk about, any projects or whatever it is that they have going on. And don't forget to visit us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, all those great social media sites. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, Gus has left the building.